EcpPro has a number of modules aimed at different audiences within an organization. Each of the videos in the EcpPro Essentials series address a specific audience group. In this video, we will be focusing on service leads, security teams, or anyone else in the organization that would like to get visibility across all your customers. In this video, we will go through dashboards, reports, and reserved instances. EcpPro organizes tenants into the following hierarchy. Most features in EcpPro are available at each level, providing aggregated reports and dashboards and collective management as you move up the tree. In the breadcrumb navigation control at the top of the page, we can see the whole hierarchy at once. From the home or MSP level at the top, to the tenant group, which is named Manage Tenants, then to the tenant called Awesome Scaffolding. And finally, at user level, we see Michael Faraday. Starting at the user level, we can see a number of reports available for Michael, the currently selected user. Moving up to tenant level, the reports and dashboards will contain data for all the users and groups within the Awesome Scaffolding tenant. At tenant group level, we see data for all the tenants in the Managed Tenants group. We can see aggregated tenant group reports and dashboards for all the tenants in this group. Finally, at home or MSP level, you will be able to see data for all of your customers. We will focus on tenant and MSP level dashboards and reports in this video. Chapter 1. In this chapter, we will go through the dashboards at tenant level. Navigating to our Managed Tenants group and selecting our Awesome Scaffolding tenant, we can start to explore the available dashboards. The licensing dashboard shows a summary of all the licenses in this tenant. In the grid, we can see which licenses are unassigned in the available column, so you can action it when the license reduction window becomes available. Clicking on one of the licenses will show all the users that have that license assigned to them. We can also click on the Licensed Users tab to see a list of all users with at least one license assigned to them. Click on the license shortcode to view all the licenses assigned to the user. Moving on to the Mailboxes dashboard. The Unlicensed User Mailboxes tab is a very important tab. The mailboxes listed may need attention, which is why they are listed on the dashboard. When a license is removed from a user, the mailbox is retained for 30 days by default. During this period, we can reassign a license to the user to restore access to the mailbox. If a license is not reassigned within the 30-day retention period, the mailbox is permanently deleted. However, if the mailbox initially had an enterprise license, it is possible to add litigation hold to the mailbox or set it to inactive before removing the license. In this case, even unlicensed user mailbox data will be retained and the warning can be ignored. We can see graphs showing the total number of user mailboxes, shared mailboxes, and the sizes of all the mailboxes and archives. The down arrow icon at the top right of the screen allows us to download all of the mailbox data to a CSV file. We can also download the data from each individual tab by clicking on the down arrow icon within the tab. As with all the other data grids in EcpPro, we can sort the grid by clicking on a column heading and filter by clicking on the filter icon next to the column heading. In the first tab, we see a list of any unlicensed user mailboxes. We can then view all of the licensed mailboxes on the second tab. We can see all the licensed shared mailboxes on the final tab. This dashboard presents a great opportunity to save your customers money. The list indicates potentially wasted licenses, as shared mailboxes are typically unlicensed. There are some circumstances, however, where you need to maintain a license on a shared mailbox. For example, when the size exceeds 50 gigabytes, archiving, or specific retention policies are required. On the MFA adoption screen, we can see any accounts with privileged Entra ID roles assigned, but no MFA. This is a significant security risk. In some cases, the lack of MFA is expected. For example, in the case of an on-premise service account. We can accept the risk by clicking on the three dots at the end of the row and selecting Accept Risk. Select a predefined reason or enter a custom reason in the field supplied. Once approved, the account will be excluded from the graph calculation. We can also view user accounts and shared mailboxes without MFA. Moving on to users and groups. On the first tab, we can see a list of inactive user accounts. The last seen column shows when last the user logged into a Microsoft Online service. Accounts that have been inactive for 60 days or more are shown. Security best practice suggests that these accounts should be disabled. The Licenses column shows dormant accounts with active licenses assigned. This presents a cost-saving opportunity for our customers. The New Accounts and Deleted Accounts tabs show user accounts that have been created or deleted in the last 30 days. This is a quick way of double-checking that there aren't any suspicious accounts listed. The Security page shows the Microsoft security scores by identity, data, device, and applications. Sort by the Status column to see the completed and started actions. Filter the column and enter RE to view the actions that still require attention. Clicking on an action will show an overview of the action, and the Implementation tab shows next steps and links to relevant documentation from Microsoft. Chapter 2. In this chapter, we will go through a number of reports at tenant level. Open the Tenant Reports menu and select ADS Audit Log to view the first report. The ADS Audit Log report shows the details of all actions performed on this tenant. Clicking on any of the links in the first column shows the details of the action. Most actions show a before and after value to allow tracking of changes over time. The ADS Login History report shows a list of all the login activity on this tenant. Clicking on the link in the first column shows additional details of the login event. The AVD Login History report is available to customers that have purchased and installed the EcpPro AVD add-on and accompanying Windows service. This report shows detailed login, logout, lock, connect and disconnect events. EcpPro logs all actions undertaken in EcpPro. We can view the logs from the EcpPro Audit Log report. Clicking on the link in the first column shows the details of the action. The last signed-in report shows a list of all the sign-in activity in the tenant. We can click on the username to navigate directly to that user account. Accounts without any sign-in activity is shown with a light red background. By default, the Risk Detections report shows all risk detections in the last month. Change the date range to expand the report duration. By clicking on the link in the first column, we can view additional information about the risk detection. The 3 dots at the end of the row allows us to go directly to this user's sign-ins, or risky sign-ins. The Risky Sign-ins report shows all sign-ins during the last month that has been classified as risky. Click on the first column to view the details of the sign-in. A direct link to the full list of the user's sign-ins is available by clicking on the 3 dots to the right of the row and selecting Users Sign-ins. We can view all users that have been classified as risky on the Risky Users report. Note that this report requires the tenant to have an Entra ID P2 license. Click on the 3 dots to the right of the report to navigate directly to the user's sign-ins and risky sign-ins. Click on the link in the first column to view the details of the risky user. The user report is a very useful and versatile report. We can search and filter all of the columns, and we can download CSV files with all the details. The first download icon at the top right of the screen will download all the users and also all the licenses assigned to each user. The second download icon will download all the users and only the license shortcodes. We will explore this report in more detail in the MSP level chapter. Chapter 3. Dashboards at Home or MSP level. From the Home or MSP level, expand the Dashboards menu item and select Licensing to view the license dashboard for all the tenants. The Paid Licenses Wasted graph shows number of unassigned licenses in either as a percentage or a number. If more than 2% of licenses are unassigned, EcpPro will display a warning in orange on this graph. If the percentage exceeds 5%, then the warning will change to red. You can customize the thresholds in the Settings menu. Click on the hash symbol to switch the view from percentage to number of licenses. The dashboards shows the number of potentially wasted licenses in each tenant, the total number of licensed users, and the total number of licenses. We can view the details of a specific tenant by clicking on the tenant name link. We will have a look at Awesome Accountants in this example. Here we can see that only 13 of the 26 available business premium licenses have been assigned. By clicking on the license description, we can view the users that currently have that specific license assigned to them. Returning to the licensing dashboard, we can also view all of the licenses assigned to users in this tenant. On the Mailboxes dashboard, we can see the mailbox details for all tenants listed. The data grid contains a number of columns with valuable mailbox data. We can see the total number of mailboxes in each tenant, the mailbox size and total number of items in the mailboxes, archived mailbox size and number of archived items, the total number of unlicensed users and total number of users. We also show the shared mailbox statistics on the right. We can view the tenant-level mailbox data by clicking on a tenant name in the first column. Looking at the Awesome Accountants tenant, we can see the mailbox data for each user in the organization. At the top of the screen, we show a note explaining Microsoft's license recommendations for mailboxes. If we sort the data grid by mailbox size, we can see the users with the largest mailboxes. We can see Bobby's SendMail's account has been disabled, but their mailbox has not been archived. We can also see that he still has a license assigned to him. The last seen column shows when last the user logged into their account. The data grid can be exported to a CSV file by clicking on the down arrow at the top right of the screen or within each of the tabs. On the MFA adoption screen, we can see a list of tenants and the number of accounts with privileged and non-privileged Entra ID roles assigned but no MFA. This is a significant security risk. Clicking on the hash symbol will change the privileged accounts from a percentage to the actual number of accounts. We can do the same for non-privileged accounts and all enabled accounts. We will look at the MFA details for the Stratovic tenant. The accounts listed all have at least one privileged Entra ID role assigned to them, but no MFA set up. We can accept the risk by clicking on the three dots to the right of the row and selecting Accept Risk. Enter or select a reason and click Approve. The item will disappear from the list. We can remove additional accounts where the risk has been accepted. If we change the At-Risk filter to Accepted Risks, we can see the accounts with an accepted risk. If the risk was accepted in error, we can revoke the risk. We can also view accounts with non-privileged Entra ID roles. To view the Entra ID roles assigned to the user, click on the number in the roles column. Moving on to the Users and Groups dashboard, we can see all the tenants listed with the number of inactive users and the number of inactive users as a percentage of the total number of users. We can see the detail at tenant level by clicking on the tenant name. Clicking on the license shortcode shows the licenses assigned to the user. The Users and Groups dashboard is great for quickly looking across all your tenants to determine which tenants require account maintenance. The users listed have not logged into a Microsoft service for at least 60 days. Note: an Entra ID P1 license is required at tenant level to be able to view the last seen date and time. The security dashboard shows security scores for all of your tenants, sorted from lowest score to highest. This dashboard quickly shows you which tenants need the most attention and how the tenants compare against each other, or your best practice baseline. Clicking on the tenant name will take you to the details of the security dashboard. The details are covered in Chapter 1 of this video. Chapter 4, Reports at Home or MSP Level. The details of the tenant-level reports have been covered in Chapter 2. We will briefly go over the Home or MSP level features. On the ADS Audit Log report, we can see all audit events across all of our tenants. We are able to search and filter the columns to identify recurring issues. The ADS Login History report shows successful and failed login attempts across all of our tenants. Clicking on the link, we can see more details of the event. The EcpPro Audit Log has a detailed list of all the events in EcpPro. We can view the details by clicking on the link in the Action column. The last signed-in report shows all members and guest sign-in events for all tenants. The Risk Detections report shows all the risk detections across all tenants for the last month. We can view the details by clicking on the Detection Time link. On the Risky Sign-ins report, we can view both successful and failed sign-in attempts that have been flagged as risky. Click on the link in the Date column to see the details. The Risky Users report requires an Entra ID P2 license. Use the three dots at the right of the item to view the user's normal sign-ins or risky sign-ins. We went through a detailed view of the user report in Chapter 2, but worth looking at some of the functionality again here. We see a list of all the users across all our tenants. We can export the list by clicking on the down arrow icons at the top of the screen. If we filter the MFA column to show users without MFA and at least one Entra ID role, we can see that we have 65 accounts with privileged roles, but no MFA. Clicking on the number in the Entra Roles column will show the Entra ID roles assigned to the user. Using this report is a very efficient way of improving the security of your customers' tenants. Chapter 5. View reserved instances across all tenants. Navigate to the CSP Management menu and select Reserved Instances to view all the recently expired and upcoming Reserve Instance renewals. The Reserved Instance report is very useful to keep an eye on reserved instances across all your tenants to ensure you have a conversation with your customers about canceling or renewing the reserved instance. That concludes this EcpPro Essentials video. We hope that you have found the video informative. If you are not yet a customer and would like to start a trial of EcpPro, please visit the EcpPro website or email us at sales@ecppro.com. If you are an existing customer and require additional support or information, please email us at support@ecppro.com. The video has been broken up into chapters for easy navigation. Please feel free to return to any chapter to review the topic. Please look out for additional videos in the EcpPro Essentials series.